So today we're taking a closer look, a deep dive into the career of George Wendt, an actor many of us, well, basically everyone, knows as Norm Peterson from Cheers.
Absolutely. And with his recent passing at 76, it feels like the right time to really explore his work, not just Norm, but, his whole contribution to comedy.
Exactly. Going beyond just that iconic character, though we definitely have to talk about Norm.
Oh, you can't not talk about Norm. George Wendt was Norm Peterson for so many people. That image, him sitting right there at the end of the bar on Cheers,
For 11 seasons, right? Just a fixture.
a complete fixture. And his whole thing, that very relatable desire for, well, another beer.
Which apparently wasn't always actual beer on set.
Yeah, that's the funny thing. It was often near beer, non-alcoholic stuff. Though I did read they might have had a real one, after the camera stopped, just occasionally.
Keeps it authentic, maybe. But it
Uh,
wasn't just the beer, was it? It was him, the character, the interactions.
Totally. The ensemble was key. Think about his scenes with Carla, with Rhea Perlman.
Oh, legendary. That constant banter.
Right. Perlman even said something like her character loved, quote, beating the crap out of him on screen.
Hmm.
It was this great comedic dynamic they had.
And Cliff Clavin, John Ratzenberger, their barstool chats.
Yeah, Ratzenberger joked about it, didn't he?
Yeah.
Said it felt like they were stealing money just sitting there cracking jokes.
It looks so natural, so easy.
And that's a testament to Wendt, I think. He made Norm feel so real, so comfortable, and, he was in every single episode.
Everyone. Yeah.
All 275. Along with Ted Danson and Rhea Perlman. That kind of consistency over 11 years, it really cements a character in your mind.
No kidding. Did Wendt himself talk much about the role?
He did. He often talked about how good the writing was on Cheers.
Hmm.
He seemed to really appreciate, how special that whole setup was, which I think tells you something about how great characters connect, right? Good writing, great actor.
Yeah, definitely. But his career didn't just start with Cheers, obviously. He had roots before that.
Oh, yeah. Strong roots. Chicago guy. He started at the Second City main stage. The famous improv theater.
Right, back in 1975. That place launched so many careers.
So many huge names. He was there for a few years, did the touring company too, I believe, then headed out to Hollywood around 1980.
So that improv background, that must have been foundational.
Absolutely. You learn so much there. Quick thinking, character work, working with others. It's a great training ground for screen acting, especially comedy. You can really see how that experience would pay off later.
And he started getting TV roles pretty quickly after moving.
Yeah, he popped up in shows people would remember. Taxi, Alice with Linda Lavin, Making the Grade, those sorts of guest spots.
Building blocks, really. Getting screen time, figuring things out.
Exactly. Getting that on-set experience, making connections, honing the timing before landing that massive role on Cheers.
He did movies too, though, right? It wasn't just TV.
No, definitely dipped into film. He was in Dreamscape, which was kind of sci-fi, wasn't it?
I think so, yeah.
And Never Say Die, a comedy. Oh, and Forever Young with Mel Gibson.
Right, I remember that one. So he had range beyond the sitcom.
Yeah, it shows adaptability.
Yep.
Sitcom acting, with the live audience feel sometimes. It's different from film. He could clearly handle both.
And even after Cheers became this huge phenomenon, he kept working constantly on TV.
Oh, relentlessly.
Mhm.
Guest spots everywhere. Seinfeld, which is amazing. The Larry Sanders Show.
Great show, very meta.
Yeah. And more dramatic stuff, too, like St. Elsewhere. Even the Twilight Zone revival and the Little Rascals movie.
He had his own show for a bit too, didn't he?
He did, yeah. The George Wendt Show in '95. And he was a regular on The Naked Truth with Téa Leoni for a while.
It's impressive, actually, to avoid being completely typecast after a role like Norm.
It really is. It shows he just, loved the work and kept looking for different things to do.
And we have to mention Saturday Night Live, Bob Swirsky.
Dallabears, yes. That character was brilliant. The ultimate Chicago sports superfan.
He did that character quite a few times, right? Between 91 and, 2003, often with Farley and Mike Myers.
Yeah, those sketches were fantastic. Just pure, distilled Chicago sports mania. It tapped into something really specific, but also, universally funny about passionate fans. Wendt nailed that.
He really did. And he kept popping up even in more recent years.
Guest roles on shows like Sabrina the Teenage Witch, Portlandia.
Oh, wow. Portlandia. That's a different vibe.
Totally. And Kirstie, his Cheers co-star, Kirstie Alley's show, and Fresh Off the Boat. So reaching different audiences, different styles of comedy.
Which is pretty cool. And he sort of came full circle back to Second City.
Yeah, that's a nice story. In 2017, they had, I can't believe they went there. The Roast of George Wendt back in Chicago.
Hosted by his nephew, Jason Sudeikis.
Right. Mr. Ted Lasso himself.
Ah.
Which must have been great. And it was a fundraiser, too, for Gilda's Club Chicago and the Second City Alumni Fund. So, giving back.
That's lovely. And Wendt apparently spoke about being proud of Sudeikis' success.
Yeah, nice family connection there, tied back to his own roots.
And his final credit, looking it up, seems to be a TV movie in 2024 called Love's Second Act.
So, working right up until near the end, really stayed active.
On the personal side, we know he was married to Bernadette Burkett, and they had 3 children.
Yes, Hillary, Joe, and Daniel. And the family's representative shared that statement, describing him as a, quote, doting family man, a well-loved friend and confidant.
And they've asked for privacy, understandably.
Of course. It's a huge loss for them.
And thinking about his career overall, nearly 5 decades, 6 Emmy nominations just for playing Norm.
6.
Yeah.
All for supporting actor. That recognition for peers tells you how respected his work on Cheers was. It wasn't just popular. It was critically acclaimed work.
So when you pull back and look at the whole picture, it's a pretty significant legacy, isn't it?
It really is. He made a genuine mark on, popular culture. Norm Peterson is obviously a huge part of that, an unforgettable character.
Absolutely. And maybe that's the core of it, right? The enduring appeal of those relatable characters. Norm just wanted a beer and a friendly ear at the end of the day.
Yeah, there's something simple and comforting in that.
And George Wendt brought such warmth and just perfect comedic timing to it. He made Norm feel like someone you actually knew.
He really did. He became part of the furniture in people's living rooms for over a decade. That kind of connection is special.
It truly is. His legacy, well, it's definitely going to keep making people smile. So thinking about his whole journey from Second City to becoming Norm and beyond, what do you think is maybe the most surprising element about why he resonated so deeply with audiences for so long?